And we're live. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today on this magical Wednesday. Reporting here from Yulapa again. Thanks for tuning in. Got Toni with me as well, behind the curtain. Thanks for joining us, Toni.
The always mystery lady.
Yep. Yeah, and for we kind of do the introduction of Toni each week, just for anyone who this might be a new episode. So Toni is a well, I'll let you introduce yourself, Toni. You do a much better job at it.
Oh, I thought you were going to make it easy on me. I guess not. I am trained by Dr. Morse, who is a naturopath and frugivore. And he has been teaching us the value of the value of the fruitarian diet and healing with fruits. Well, it's actually more about leaving certain foods out. And it is, for me, it's been an amazing journey. I came from bedridden to be able to walk again and do things and talk, because I have been in a position where I could not even finish the whole sentence. And now I'm talking the whole day. It's an ongoing journey for me, the healing journey, the learning journey. I always keep learning more from Dr. Morse. I have short videos from him up on my channel, and you can find the channel when you would just look for my name, Toni Weel, ToniWeel. And we keep learning from him, and I am forever grateful for, well, you could say, saving my life. And I feel so very blessed that I can now help other people and guide them to actually empower them to heal themselves, because I'm not the one doing it. You all do it. You do it yourself when you have the correct information, and it's amazing for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Just curious, is Dr. Morse, so does he still do like classes with his students on a regular basis, or
No, he stopped. The last life class was in 2019.
Okay.
That was the iridology class, and he was going to do one in 2020, and some weird thing going around changed everything. So no more live classes, but in the meantime, he perfected his online classes, and they are absolutely amazing. Nice. And a lot of the videos are taken from the live classes, and they have a ton of information. So yes, you can go to his school. He's transforming it to a naturopath school, which is awesome. There are going to be more and more classes about the herbs, about iridology, to learn more about that. So it is, it's quite interesting, and I actually intend to just take the classes again, because it's always interesting. There's always new stuff to learn, of course. So yes, and he is retired, but he still has an almost weekly a Q&A, an hour, sometimes 2 hours, and where he answered difficult cases of people who sent him emails. So you can still do that. But he doesn't see people in person. That is why he trained his detox specialists or practitioners or healers, like he likes to call us, all over the world.
Nice. Yeah, I love periodically going through Toni's YouTube channel and just looking at the little clips of what he talks about, because there's just such a wealth of information. So I can imagine you get more out of it each time you watch him. Well, awesome. Well, should we jump right into the questions?
Yeah, I got a few questions last minute from you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I get them, so I just forward them.
I just managed to print them all out. So there's a question from Yola. We go with Yola. Can greens be mixed with fruits? Simple question, no. The reason for that is that greens have a longer digestion time than fruits, And if it's the fruits will just stay in your GI tract or your stomach, it starts fermenting. It can even turn into alcohol. So if you want to have fruits, then take about half an hour, 45 minutes, then take your greens. But I know all these delicious green drinks with mangoes in it, not a good thing. It can cause bloating and it doesn't help you healing, especially not your GI tract. So don't do it. Leave enough time in between. What you can do with greens is actually apples. And of course, I should be able to explain why you can get apples mixed with greens. And I forgot. I don't remember. And another thing that you can mix is lemon. Lemon you can mix with anything. So
No,
that
I guess.
was, yeah, I don't know if you have more information about that.
No, but just to conceptualize it, you've got imagine like a leafy green bed of lettuce. It is going to take longer to digest. So you've got this fruit sitting on top of it, and the fruit just begins. We see what you take an experiment. You put a head of lettuce on your counter, and you chop up some fruit, and you leave that on your counter, and then just watch and see which one starts to ferment and break down faster. It's most certainly going to be the fruit. So the same thing happens internally as well at an accelerated rate, because that's the way that our digestive system is set up to sort of accelerate that process. And so if you've got this thing that's not digesting, it's not fermenting, and then it's got this other layer that is fermenting on top of it that can't actually percolate down into the digestive tract, then yeah, it's going to create all sorts of gases and other sorts of things that just introduce more complications and discomfort and things of that nature. So yeah, as Toni said, it's best to eat the fruit first and wait 30 minutes to an hour or so, and before you eat any vegetables, if you are eating if you are eating vegetables, which is contrary to what we normally do, which is to have the dessert, sweeter things at the end of the meal. But again, this is just a distortion of the truth of what we need to do. So sweets first. And sweets, by sweets, I mean, no, don't do refined sugars, but do the fruit first.
Yeah, it also has to do, a lot of people complain about bloating
Mm,
and everything goes well, but I have so much bloating, and this is one of the causes, just the wrong mixture of even fruits, but also fruits with greens. Another question by her was, if one is on Dr. Morse's herbal protocol, how long does it normally take? Well, it all depends on what you're trying to heal. There is, he offers actually a standard kit that was 14 weeks. It's now 12 weeks, so it's 3 months. And it takes however long it takes. It's not, you don't take herbals for a lifetime, like with pharmaceuticals. You take them for a short time. I would actually say maximum 3 months, and then you see how you're doing, and stop for a while, and before you look into like, okay, what do I need now? Are my kidneys filtering? Is my lymph moving? Do the symptoms that I had, are they gone? So it's as a minimum, I would say 3 months. But don't expect, that you heal with 2 or 4 weeks, because that is not the case. And of course, first thing is always the most important is the diet. If you don't change the diet and you still on meat and dairy, eggs, grains, cooked food, and the whole enchilada, then don't even start on the herbal protocol, because I feel that's my personal opinion, it's a waste of money then. So her question then was, I'm interested for some herbs for my kids to help them with the GI, since they're still on other foods. You can do a few things with like the GI renewal, but it depends on what are you looking for. Are you looking for helping them with having more or better bowel movements? Do you want to clean out the GI tract? And I'm a little careful with that. Kids, well, everyone has to be really hydrated before you would start with like what we have. It's the GI broom, and you can also get a GI sweep from another company. They have a bulking agent in it. And if you're not hydrated enough, then you will get constipation. So that is why I'm really careful with kids, as in when to use it, how much to use it, and what is their diet. So I would say try to get them on a little bit more fruit and then carefully go from there. Start with the GI Renew, depending on how many bowel movements a day they have, because they have actually 6 different formulas from 0 to 6. And it is yeah, it's going on base by base. You can't really say this is how you have to do it. It depends on the child and depends on what they're eating. So it just, I'm sorry, it's a general answer, but I would need to know more to make sure that it's been done the right way. And then we have the next question is about insect stings. This comes from Bee Lady. Okay, I hope you don't have the bee stings, because there was another question about mosquito stings. Oh, this is from Donna, the bee lady. The first thing that comes to mind with it's actually even with snake bites, even poison snake bites, that is plantain. And when I came to the US, I learned that plantain is absolutely growing everywhere, especially where you don't want it. And it's a thing that don't throw it out, because it can work miracles with a lot of things. And now don't ask me what the lot of things are, because I got stuck now with the bee stings or the insect stings. But plantain is one, and if you have like swelling, then definitely start with ice packs to get the swelling down a little. But the swelling, it's lymph. It's a healing process. That's why it is swollen. And another thing that can help is actually the lymph formula to help you with that. So what can you add to that, Justin?
Well, just to clarify, when you say plantain, what do you mean? Like
It's a little plant. It's a little plant that grows between the bricks in your yards and everywhere where you don't want it. And you are thinking of plantains like the bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not it. That's what I first thought too when I heard about that years ago. No, it's a little plant.
I'm not familiar with it.
Gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Plantain.
But it's spelled the same as the fruit?
Yeah, it is. It actually is.
So my suggestion would be urine. Try putting urine on it. I feel like that's one of especially if you're stuck somewhere and you don't have any salves or herbs or anything. Urine's always something you got with you, and it's we've heard about it for jellyfish stings, but I've researched that it seems to work for just about all bites and stings and ailments and cuts and any sort of issue we have with our skin. Urine can really help to soothe it and draw out any poisons and whatever else, because it just gives a good it's like a loop to your body, that when you put urine on something and it's your own urine, it tells the body what it needs to produce in order to deal with those toxins. So that would be my suggestion, especially if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, thank you for adding that, because that was the first thing that my husband mentioned when he was in the Navy, and they went to all these countries everywhere, Dutch Navy, and the first thing that they told him was pee on it. And we knew that from the jellyfish, so it actually works with other insect stings also.
Yeah,
that's always, and it's always available. You don't have to look for a plant.
No. Yeah, Elias even says for snake and bee stings, you put 15 drops of urine under your tongue for 15 seconds. Many testimonies on that. Yeah, there's a whole host of information on urine therapy and what it can do for you. So if you're curious, look into that. But it's a free thing that's always available to us. So it's non-toxic, so it doesn't hurt to try it.
Okay, Anna Marie would like to know my opinion on pineapples. And she says, I hear mixed things, like they are coming from a lab and or GMO, and therefore stay away. I also hear they are very acidic in the body. However, I can't find anything to confirm or deny any of these things. And she wants to know, because she loves pineapple, if they are doing her more harm than good. The problem with pineapple is that we cannot find a ripe pineapple in the store. If you have a pineapple tree, pineapple plant, and you can leave it on until it is ripe, absolutely eat it, because it's very healthy actually. The problem is that we never get them ripe. If I go into the store, even on the farmer's market, they're green. And yeah, we do the sniffing test, like, okay, how ripe is it? But then I learned that, is it really ripe when it smells bad, when you know that they actually have been picked unripe? And according to Dr. Morse, he is clear. He says that they just start fermenting, and that is what you smell. And the last time that I did my smell test, it's really funny if you see me on a farmer's market smelling the pineapples, or my husband does that. But I could actually smell the rotting in it. So I stopped eating them. That they are from a lab and or GMO, I have not heard that before. I don't know anything about that. But yes, they are not healthy when picked unripe. And they are then acidic, because you can actually feel it. For me, it burns in my mouth. I can barely eat one piece.
Yeah, that's the bromelain from, it's a protective mechanism for the fruit. It produces that acid within it to keep things from eating it before it's ripened. So it's doing its job, but it is painful, which is unfortunate because pineapple is so delicious. And so we just need to all start growing our own pineapple, which I know, Toni, you've grown one yourself. And
Yeah, there is one growing, and it is a extremely slow process. It's one, and I actually grew it from a bought pineapple. And it
yeah,
is amazing how it keeps working, because it was completely neglected over the winter time, and it starts growing, and it's getting beautiful.
nice. Yeah, don't you just take the stalk, you just peel or you pull the head off, the little green part, and just plant that. Isn't that what
Actually,
it does?
actually, I just cut off the top part and I put it in soil. That was all I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
And
that's
it did
amazing.
not want to die on me. And I had forgotten about it. It was in a little corner, and it was in some water and a little bit of soil. And I put it, eventually after months, I put it in soil, and it keeps growing and getting bigger and bigger. The plant
Wow,
itself, not necessarily the pineapple,
right.
but there is a pineapple. And
Well,
I'm going to
maybe,
leave it there until it is green, or green until it is nice yellow. And I just hope that I beat the critters outside. We shall see.
yeah, yeah. Well, we're excited to hear about that.
Yeah,
That it
there is
does that.
another thing with pineapples, and I think we spoke about that in one of our calls, is about putting them in the fridge. And because I had mentioned that when you buy frozen pineapples, they are picked ripe and then frozen right after picking. So that is why actually a frozen pineapple really. About putting them in the, hold on. All of a sudden, I hear myself. My phone decided to pick
Wanted
something up.
wanted to tune in.
Yeah, actually, yes, I heard myself, and I never listened to myself. Frozen pineapples are picked ripe, so they taste a lot better, and they are great to put in smoothies. But then somebody had mentioned, yeah, you can also put them in a fridge, and
Yeah,
I have not tried that out yet.
I had heard that tip from John Kohler at OK Raw, and he suggested doing that. It doesn't work 100%, but it does seem to reduce the effects of the bromelain. So, you know,
Okay. Well, it's always interesting, to try things out. But I still believe that when you really pick it ripe, and and it's then frozen, it's better to use it that way than eat acidic, unripe fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The question from Jade is wondering about whether or not organic fruits and vegetables are much better to buy than non-organic fruits and vegetables for those of us without land yet to start growing a lot of our own stuff. If I can elaborate on whether or not the non-GMO project verified foods are better for you than those that are not non-GMO project verified. The thing is, with now they put these labels on it that it is GMO project verified. I think it's just another gimmick. I don't believe in it. Maybe it is okay. It's not GMO, but there is on every fruit or veggie, there is a label. And the organic numbers start with a 9. The ones that have been sprayed start with 4 or 5, and the GMO, I don't know. I don't know if it was a 4 or a 5. And the GMO has their own code. So that is how you can see it. But would I buy a non-GMO verified fruit before I would buy organic fruit? No, because, you know, if it is organic, it's organic and it tastes better. And I can't say it's really perfect, because even the berries don't taste as good as they once did, even the organic ones. Mm-hmm. Sadly enough, I have a few bushes now in pots in my own, well, I can't even say yard because it's a little bit. But anyway, they actually taste sweet. So whatever you buy in the grocery store, or sometimes even the farmer's market, it's hard to, you know, to say with the taste which is better. Non-GMO project verified, my opinion is it's just another gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably better than if it didn't say anything at all. You know, if it's another layer that says it has to be non-GMO. But I agree, it's most
Yeah,
likely just
but you know,
marketing.
they already, the GMO fruits and vegetables have a code that it makes it recognizable.
Right.
Now, not everybody knows those codes, but you can easily Google it. And I should have written it down, but I got this email a little late and I didn't search it. I didn't look for it. But I always look at, you know, that 9 in front of the number, then I know it's organic.
Right.
Today I actually saw, because today was my weekly fruit shopping day, and I saw that the organic fruits per pound were $1 cheaper. This was with oranges.
Wow.
Cheaper than the non-organic.
Interesting.
And they still come from California, not from Florida.
Interesting.
So actually, this is not a question that was asked, but it comes up many times, is, you know, if you cannot buy organic fruit or it's not in the budget, can you buy non-organic? And I would say, yeah, absolutely, sure. Keep an eye on all these the fruits that are, well, they call it on the dirty dozen, like strawberries are. But as with strawberries, it is like they are always picked unripe. So it's so hard to find a good strawberry, even the organic ones. Mm-hmm. But if you cannot buy, for instance, grapes is a big thing with detoxing, because it's so astringent and it helps you so much. If you cannot buy any organic ones, buy non-organic ones and just wash them thoroughly. You can even wash them, well, baking soda, vinegar, food, what do they call that? And not, of course, not the cleaning vinegar. And you can even use a safe,
white vinegar.
You can even use a safe soap to wash them up, rinse them off very well, preferably not with tap water. And I rinse them actually off with distilled water. and I soak them in distilled water with baking soda.
Yeah,
And I even do that for the organic ones. So, because if there is a little bit of muck on it, I'll taste it. It burns in my mouth. So I always know if something, needs to be washed. But last week, it's cherry season. So you can buy cherries pretty much everywhere, and the price is great. I did not wash them at all because I started eating them on the way home.
Nice.
And they were actually good. They were really good.
Yeah, but that baking soda bath is a great way. Just put a little bit of baking soda. How much would you say? Like a tablespoon per gallon kind of thing, roughly?
I think my that bath holds about a gallon, and I put at least 2 big tablespoons in there.
Okay. Yeah, but baking soda is cheap, and so you can get a lot of that in
Oh
bulk,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and just soak them in there for, at least 10 to 15 minutes. But sometimes if you see gunk on them, you can do longer than that, and then yeah, just rinse them off, and they're good to go.
yeah.
So
Mine,
so
yeah.
so yeah, don't fret about the organic, non-organic if you can't afford the organic. If you're switching to fruits, you are doing yourself so many favors than getting off a conventional diet. So it's a win either way. Organic is going to be a little better. Homegrown is going to be the absolute best. So if you can find a way to grow it yourself and move to a space where or get to local farmers markets or get closer to the source, that's going to be the ideal. Um, Organic is going to be a step down from that, and then, but even so, conventional is going to be fantastic for your health as opposed to any other type of food that you would get on a shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't let it stop you from eating more fruit because,
Mhm.
it's still better than all the processed foods that we have been eating. So it's not an excuse.
Yes, yes.
A question from Veronica about, she says, my 70-year-old will have her first checkup next week. In the case of a cavity, what is the best remedy? The best remedy is always the diet, as little proteins and fats and most fruits, it's what will heal a cavity. And she says she's been using a toothpaste with fluoride. Is this okay for children? Well, that depends on all the other ingredients. We can actually keep our toothpaste very, very simple. And I didn't have the time to look up the recipe, but I know I posted it once in the Freak Sense group. Keeping it simple would be actually brushing it with baking soda.
That's
Baking
what I do.
soda, and maybe make it like a little paste with baking soda and a drop of mint and a few drops of coconut oil, and brush it with that. Because I'm not too happy with whatever comes from the big industries, even though it doesn't have fluoride, it has a lot of other stuff in it.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's just the baking soda. It's not, it's salty. Like it's definitely a salty flavor, but it's very cleaning and very simple, very cheap, and it's just consistent. So I use baking soda for everything. Like I use it for washing myself. I use it for brushing my teeth. I use it for cleaning my fruit. And so as far as products that I have to buy, it's an easy one to just have around. But like Tony said, you can make it a little more appealing, especially for kids. It might be helpful to make a mixture. So adding that mint essential oil is going to help balance that out a little bit. And then yeah, with the coconut oil, you can make that a little bit more of like a paste.
Now, the most interesting, well, no, I cannot say the most interesting question. There was actually a question that would require a long, long answer. And now I cannot find, well, I remember the question, but I cannot find the printout. But it was about viruses, contagious diseases, measles, of course. And from Dr. Morse and many others, we already found out no such thing as viruses. They cannot live outside the body. It's just a cleaning. Well, to say it's simple, it's just a part of the, well, some call it a protein, a part of the cells. And but I printed out something. Oh, what is it? Like 12 pages, if not more. I think it's even more than that. And that is about a germ theory, the linchpin holding the entire hoax together. And I found that there is a Facebook group that is called Terrain Model Refutes Germ Theory. And it is so interesting. And you get all these questions answered, because this article starts, there is no such thing as a contagious virus. Unbelievable, shocking, yes, it is. And he has well, he put it all together with from the author of Goodbye Germ Theory, William Trebing, something from B.J. Palmer. And his statement, I like his statement: if the germ theory were true, no one would be alive to believe it. And actually, that says it all. There is a lawsuit there was a lawsuit in 2016, I think, in Germany, and about to prove that the measles virus actually exists, and they couldn't. So why do people then get the measles? So it's a good question, because we know you put some people together, they get the measles. But then again, there are a bunch who do not get the measles. So why would say 3 out of 10, or no, let's say like 5 out of 10 get the measles, and the other 5 don't. I mean, if it's that contagious, then everyone should get it. But then you have to look at the terrain, your body. How clean is it? What do you eat? And can people really say what it is and why somebody would get it or not? There is a report, and that is called the invisible rainbow. And it says detox triggered by invisible waves, solar activity, toxins, and changes in the Earth's magnetic field, a new cell tower. That can all have to do with the spread. Why does it spread in one pretty contained area and not in another, and still half the people don't get it? So what they did, they tried to transmit chickenpox to over 30 children whose parents wanted them exposed. So with open and oozing pox, the kids playing in the sprinkler on the trampoline did the slip and slide together and used the same straws and lollipops. Not even one of the over 30 children caught the pox, but several children who live or go to school within a 3-mile radius did. So a small private school within that proximity had an outbreak at that time. And they bus these children to 5 school districts. So they ride on the buses with other children and go home to siblings and families, and the outbreak never spread to anybody who was outside of that geographical area. So he said, and that sure seems to support what is presented in the invisible rainbow. So I sometimes wonder, I have heard so many from, oh, this is how it can happen, and this is. Of course, the terrain is very important. I strongly believe that when the terrain, your body is clean, you wouldn't get this. You wouldn't. Yeah, I think you wouldn't get it, because but on the other hand, as a child, you also need to develop an immune system. So that could be a reason that some kids do get it if it's necessary. So I don't have the answers to how it works, but definitely not how they say, and definitely it's not a vaccine that will prevent you from getting, because I think we already know that, was that a few years ago in New York, in the area there, that a lot of vaccinated people got the measles.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've from what I've researched, it's the vaccines that are most likely the culprit of where the diseases come from in the first place. Like they're all of these illnesses are largely bioengineered to be spread as toxins, and so put the toxins either in food or water sources, or spray them in the air, or put them in vaccines, or however they seek to administer them. And you mentioned the electromagnetic waves from technologies and things of that nature can stimulate them as well. But it's some external factor that's stimulated by usually for nefarious purposes of getting people ill, and it's all to spread this fear of this germ theory that's never been proven, so that we fear this invisible enemy instead of the truth that there's some evil people out there that are just trying to find ways to always threaten us with different factors. So yeah, it's a fascinating rabbit hole to go down, but it is an interesting one for sure. And just like everything else, we've been lied to about everything.
Yeah, it is. This whole write-up is very interesting. So if anybody is interested in getting it, I'll email it to you. This reminds me of my daughter when she was 6 months old. She was not vaccinated. This is a long time ago. She was not vaccinated, not around other children, and at 6 months old, she got the measles.
Wow.
She was not feeling great. She had a fever, a little under 100, and she had all the spots. This was in the days when the doctor still came to your house. You didn't have to go to a doctor or an ER. Now it was in the Netherlands, so maybe it was a little different than in the U.S. But they started laughing. It's like, oh my God, she has the measles. Well, have fun with it. And that was that. Nobody was worried. It was just, okay, you have the measles. That was that.
Hmm.
Now it is a big thing. And even when I immigrated from the Netherlands to the US, I not only got the polio vaccine, I got the tetanus vaccine, and I got the MMR with, all the BS that happened after that, because it's not doing a body any good.
No.
Well, it didn't do any good to mine. Measles, when you're my age.
Right. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's hard to say the amount of lasting effects that we're still experiencing from injecting all these poisons into us, but that was the goal of it, and that's still the goal of it, is to. But we're getting past that. We're getting past that period, and people are starting to realize this. So we're just moving along.
Yeah, and we're getting healthier, so we can handle more. And I think more and more people are waking up to it doesn't make any sense, and nothing changes. It doesn't protect, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm done with my questions.
Okay. Well, that's great. We'll go through. If anyone's got any questions in the chat, we can take a few there. I think I saw some earlier. Let me read back through. Let's see. Question for Toni: how to lower pH of urine when it's 8 or higher? So urine is supposed to be pretty acidic, but I don't know if it's supposed to be that. Or no, that's base.
That's
Right?
alkaline.
Yeah, that's alkaline.
That is on the alkaline side. So you're not filtering. And how to get them to filter? Change the diets. You have to get the proteins out of your diet. Try to get as much fats out of it. Go on more fruits. Drink more. Don't overdo it with the drinking, because when I hear somebody saying, yeah, I have all my fruits and I drink a gallon of water, and I was like, oh no, don't do that. That is just too much. But you need about 1 liter of water. See, water is not going into the cells. Fruit liquids do. But yeah, it is transition to more fruits, get your kidneys filtering, and get the acidity out of your body. But on the other hand, if you have high alkaline tests on your urine, and you are absolutely completely healthy and clean, it could be a little bit more on the alkaline side. But who nowadays is that clean? I don't think so. And then still it should be base. It should not really be, over alkaline. Right. There's another misconception is with the drinking of high alkaline water. Don't do it. It's not healthy. Everything over, was it 8? is unhealthy. And I see, and I've done it. Believe me, I've done it because I was told that was what I needed years ago. I drank like 9.5, and there was once even a 10. And yeah, it's not healthy.
Hmm.
And it's not the way to alkaline your body, because you can't keep eating processed foods and the wrong foods and animal foods and drink alkaline water and then think your body will be alkaline. It's not going to
Right.
happen.
Doesn't work that way. Yeah, alkalinity is just about the ease of our body. So the more things that we consume that are easy to digest and process, the more alkaline we will be. And fruit is the easiest to digest. It is the closest to the form that our body wants to convert it to, which is the glucose. So it is very alkalizing.
I like that explanation, the ease.
Hmm. Yeah, it's ease or
Yeah,
disease. Ease or disease, you
yeah,
choose.
absolutely. I haven't thought of it that way.
Hmm.
Very good.
All right. Josiah Chambers says, is juice pasteurization safe and does it retain its nutrients? So it's essentially like you're cooking the juice. So you are destroying the life in it when you pasteurize a juice. Um, so that's why pasteurized juices can last so much longer than fresh juice. Fresh juice can last maybe like 20, 24 to 48 hours if it's not vacuum sealed, and maybe a few more days if it is vacuum sealed. Um, but pasteurized juice can last weeks, and that's because and that's what it's doing in our bodies too. It's anything that doesn't ferment naturally is going to be harder for our body to break down and not nearly as easily utilized. So pasteurized juice is a no go from my perspective.
There is something that I learned from Dr. Morse, and that was actually about grape juice. And he said, if you, wintertime, no grapes, if you cannot get any grapes and you really want to go on a grape juice, and you can only get, now we're talking about the Concord juice in bottles,
Mm,
pasteurized. There is nothing added to it. There are no sugars, no preservatives, no nothing. He said, if you can't get anything else, then you can still do that. Now, my preference would still be fresh orange juice or fresh apple juice.
mhm,
But I can see when you are in a position, there's nothing that you can do. You're traveling, maybe. Then the pasteurized, and this is only for the grape use, because grapes are so astringent that they still keep some of that even when they are pasteurized.
hmm. That's good to know. It's good to know if I'm traveling somewhere and can only get pasteurized grapefruit, or not grapefruit, but grape juice.
Grape, yeah, grape juice, the Concord
Mm,
grape juice.
hmm. All right, and let's see. Any more questions here? Can you offer some examples of what you would eat raw vegan after you off the juice cleanse? Thank you. Um, So if you're asking about transitioning from a juice cleanse back to solid foods, you want to go about it slowly, and there are plenty of resources out there to sort of show the best way to do it. But depending on how long you've been abstaining from solid food, you want to take the appropriate amount of days to get back into the swing of things. But the best thing to start back with are the soft, juicy fruits. So that's going to be the easiest thing to reacclimate, and still being kind of juicing here and there. And then you can move to if you are going to salads, you can move towards, well, first move to maybe some harder fruits, and then you can move to salads and greens, and then nuts and seeds if you're going to go that route. Um, but you just want to take it slow. You don't want to reintroduce hard, complex foods too quickly, because that can just be really uncomfortable and even dangerous if you do it. Like if you went straight from a long juice cleanse to potatoes. I've heard of people even dying from that, going too quickly back onto something like that. So not recommended. It does need to be taken care of. But if I assume that's what your question is, Tony. Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, you are exactly right. It's you start with the juicy fruits. It is only a few days, it's not for weeks. It's only a few days just to
Right.
eat more fruit. If you want to eat a salad, then you just stay on raw. Don't start adding oils in and things like that, or fermented food, because then you're going to be right back where you started. And besides, your body won't like it anymore. So once you get cleaner, it's always listen to your body.
Exactly. Yeah, just take it slow and chew your food really well, especially, I should be chewing your food well all the time, but especially coming off a juice cleanse, chew your food really well and just, eat slowly. So wait after you have a few bites and see how you feel, and then have some more, and just go from there. But yeah, just take it slow, listen to your body.
When you say chew your fruits very well, I was thinking about somebody who suggested to me, Toni, you have to even chew your juices. And I was like, okay. Especially with it's good when you have like mono juices, because your body, that is, I was thinking about this last week. When you smell something, your saliva already is already getting active, so even before you eat it, your body already prepares to that it comes into your mouth. Isn't that amazing?
It is. So yeah, maybe even before you chew it, get a good whiff of it.
Yeah,
Take
yeah,
take a
exactly.
good smell. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, chew your I think the was John Rose that says chew your liquids and drink your solids. So you want to chew your solids to the point to where they become liquids, and
Yeah.
but still chew your liquids as well, because it stimulates the salivation and things of that nature, so that our
Yeah,
body better processes
it's the
things.
enzymes for digestion. So
hmm Yeah, and just slow
it
down
all
too.
works so beautifully.
Yeah, truly. Virtuous Unicorn says, "Hi everyone, just joining. So sorry if I missed, but can you or have you spoke about proud flesh on humans?"
What is that?
I have no idea. Proud flesh on humans. I have no idea what that means. Sorry about that. If you want to elaborate. Um, I don't see any more questions. Anyone else in the chat have any questions for us? Got about 10 minutes left, or we can end early. Any favorite foods you have with nutrition in mind? Fruit. All sorts of fruit. That's going to be the favorite foods with nutrition in mind. Oh, thank you. Yes, I remember you were speaking in the transition time of the cleanse. So I was really asking about the kinds of food you think are really nutritious for a raw vegan diet. So yeah, again, the fruit. If anything that's a fruit is going to be pretty safe bet. And if you stick with mono meals, that's going to be the best, because you're not bombarding your body with all sorts of different things all at once. Makes digestion a lot easier. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, if you think about what is the most healing, then at the top is the grapes, the dark red grapes, black grapes preferably,
Yeah, with seeds.
and then you would have the watermelon,
Mm.
and then the oranges, the apples. But there are different fruits in every season, and enjoy what is available and enjoy what tastes good. But it depends on if you're really sick and you want to heal, like you want to heal your body from cancer, then you absolutely go with the grapes, the dark red or black grapes. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But watermelon is doing a great thing in detoxing, but not everybody can handle it. And some people get really sick because of it, and then you have to slow it down. So then pick another fruit that does work for you. So we do respond differently on the fruits depending on what state our body is in. what state our GI tract is in. And there is a thing that is not often talked about, actually. We have a lot of problems with absorption of the nutrition. And I hear even more about people getting very skinny instead of being overweight. And at first it was like, why in the world is this even possible? But then when you look at all the diets and how our GI tract is in the gunk in there, and how much unprocessed foods people have been, then if your GI tract is not clean, you won't absorb the nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And often we have weak parathyroid, so that is something to work on. The parathyroid and absolutely the GI tract. I think that is one of the most important things, the GI tract to heal, the kidneys and the GI tract.
Mm.
Because you can work on your kidneys and still have well, can I say the word like a dirty GI tract? It sounds so weird. Unclean? No, it's not a good word either. But it needs to be cleaned out, and that's when your real healing starts. So if you do a juice cleanse, then absolutely don't forget to clean out your GI tract.
Mm. Yeah, that's good to know. Stan Wingfield says using a straw to drink, copper straw, silver straw, stainless steel straw. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using a straw to drink, as far as I know, but if you do use a stainless steel straw, you are going to be adding a positive charge to the liquid, so any type of, or most metals, when they come in contact with it, they add that positive charge, which is not necessarily the best for us to consume. So the silver or copper, I've never seen a silver straw, but if you can get a silver straw, that sounds fantastic. Or a copper straw would both be great alternatives. Or they have bamboo straws or wooden straws, which are great. Um, Plastic straws, if you can find one that's a good quality, is going to be fairly neutral, but you just have to make sure you don't heat it or put it in acidic juices, because the plastic can break down. You don't want to get that in there. But I don't really use straws. I'd rather just drink it normally.
Huh, you tell me more about that stainless steel straw, because that is what I have been using.
Yeah, just anytime we introduce metals, magnetic metals especially. So stainless steel isn't going to be as bad as like iron, for example. But if it's a magnetic metal, it's introducing a positive charge to whatever come in contact with.
But
And so what helps us process things a lot better is to be grounded and balanced, and we're naturally already positively charged beings. And so anything that we introduce that's got a positive charge on it, it's just going to increase that imbalance. So if you look at fruit, for example, it has a negative charge, and anything that grows from the ground, just touching the ground or touching trees, have a negative charge on our body, so it helps dispel things. So I try and avoid any metal contact with things that I consume as much as possible. So try and using bamboo or wood cutlery or silver, and precious metals like copper, silver, gold, and things of that nature. That's why one of the reasons why they have such valuable properties is because they have a different effect than most other metals on them.
I have seen glass straws too,
Oh,
but I
glass,
think,
yeah, glass is
yeah,
great too.
bamboo would be an option.
Hmm.
Huh. Well, there goes my stainless steel straws.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean it's not going to be the worst thing, but if you're wanting optimal, it's a good thing to note.
Yeah.
Let's see. Josiah asks one more question: is all salt bad? I use Celtic sea salt sometimes, so this is a topic that's fresh for me, and I had actually been without salt for 2 months, and then I was like, you know what, I really miss salt in my guacamole, so I'm gonna reintroduce it. And every time I tried to reintroduce salt, my body just violently rejects it. I get this horrible diarrhea, and even if I keep eating it, my ankles start to swell up really, really badly. So as stubborn, and I was like, surely I can get over this. Surely I can get over this to where salt doesn't affect me anymore and I can keep eating it. But it really didn't work. Like no matter what, I still had these horrible effects. And so I'm just uh, it's a sad sign, but it's a good sign as well because it's just indicating that salt is really not for my body, and God's asking me to go to that next level, to just let go of the salt, and it's not for us. It doesn't do anything good for us. It's an inorganic mineral. The only things that can absorb inorganic minerals are plants. So salt is great for adding to plant soil. If you add salt water, sea salt, or seawater is fantastic. But if you add, Himalayan salt to uh, to water and spray that and pour that in your plants, it's fantastic for them. But as far as us, we can't absorb these things. So as soon as we introduce it into our body's immediately trying to get rid of it. And that's why salt makes us thirsty because we're our body's like, hey, I need something to flush this junk out of here. Um, so there's, it is tasty. I get that. But there's really nothing good that comes from it. And so if anyone's dealing with getting past those cravings, I use sea vegetables, so seaweeds, as a kind of segue between. But I'm committed to the no salt, not necessarily by choice, but I'm here with it.
Well, that's how you learn,
Yep.
trial and error.
Hmm.
I have an amazing document, and the title is Salt is a Poison.
Hmm.
And it explains why it is a poison. So if anybody wants it, just email me and I'll send it to you. I had posted it in the Freak Sense group before, but that group is gone. Um, I love salt,
Hmm.
and I know it's not good for me. So I use dulse often instead, and that works. So that is your seaweed.
Hmm.
Um, it also indicates that your adrenals are weak. But then, would you still want salt? I did find out when I am on 3 days on all fruit, I have zero cravings, zero salt cravings. So it is amazing how fast your body can actually adapt, and it's just in our mind that we need it. Uh, Interesting thing, my husband grew up in a household where mom was not using any salt because the doctor had told her no. So all the 5 kids and her husband never got any salt.
Mm.
So he is not even used to it, and he doesn't know about it, he doesn't miss it. So it is something that we kind of get addicted to.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like with so many things.
Yeah, I mean it is it's highly addictive, and it makes sense. I used to just love salt on everything. Always add more of it, even going out to eat where the food's already super salty, and I would add more to it. And yeah, but those
Yeah,
times are gone.
when you look at it, it's like, should we even eat food? You mentioned the famous addictive guacamole or avocados.
Hmm.
They don't really taste that great without any salt. I mean, you have to get used to the taste, and you
Mm.
can. That definitely has some taste, but I like it with salt and pepper and curry,
Hmm.
and But on fruits, when do you ever need salt on fruits? Never.
No.
It has everything that you need.
Hmm. Yep, it's a good litmus test to what we should be eating, as how delicious it is, just straight off the vine, straight off the tree.
So are you now surrounded by fruits, or is that in an area not really the case?
Oh yeah, I mean, surprisingly, there aren't. I mean, all fruit trees can grow here quite well, but I was a little disappointed that there aren't quite as many fruit trees growing around. But we have taken some walks and found pastures of mango trees, and so we've gone picking those, um, and we were going to go on an excursion with the local who is a he might be a fruitarian, or he loves fruits, and so he knows all about where the fruits are. So he was going to take us exploring and going to pick some. Um, so hopefully we'll do that soon.
Yeah, because I was thinking this morning about, well, I was at a grocery store and I got some blackberries and other berries. And I was thinking about, way back when I walked to school, it was along a dirt road and there were bushes, and it was just after the summer, and you had the blackberries and other berries everywhere. So going to school and coming from school, that was just a normal thing. You pick them. Now, this was in the Netherlands, but when we look now, those things are not there anymore. There's nothing like that growing in the wild.
Yeah.
We have to change that. We really do.
Yeah, we
And by
really
the
do.
way, did you know that an avocado never grows in the wild? You never see wild avocados.
Really?
It's a
I-
hybrid. It's
I'm
it's only 100 to 150 years old. It
interesting.
started actually in Mexico.
Interesting.
No wild avocados.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
Okay, I see we already passed the hour.
Yep, we're at the hour. So, and this was another great show. And for those of y'all who are asking some questions later on and we didn't get to you, just make sure to email those over to understandingtruth@gmail.com or directly to Toni at toniweel@gmail.com. And we will get those on to next week's show. We do plan on continuing to do this. It's just a great way to chat about all health related topics, what people are going through. And, it's, if you've got a question, it's chances are it's going to help a lot of other people. So don't be afraid to ask, and we'll get to the bottom of it as best we can. We're all just doing our best and figuring things out as we go. But thank you all for joining us, and love you, Toni. Love you, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.
Love you, Justin, and everybody who was on the show call, whatever you call it, and wishing you an amazing rest of the day and big hugs from Florida.
Yeah, big hugs from you.